there, ho there, hi there, and welcome to another Sunday Morning Samoflange. I'm Matt, and here we go. I don't know if Benjamin's going to be here to the end of the year. I don't know. Maybe I'm finishing this off solo. I'm going to see, since we are getting down to the holidays, and we've both been busy, I'm going to see if he can come on for the final two for the year. Definitely want him on there. But there is one more topic on this one little Post-it note sheet, and I can't find any. I did do a little search for Post-it note sheets in the other cabinets. I can't find any. That doesn't mean none exist, because I started thinking about it, and there is a walk-in closet in this room where I think at one time I had things, and it's pretty much a mess. Inside of this walk-in closet is a work desk or something. I guess someone worked there inside the closet. It's a walk-in closet, so I guess he wanted some peace and quiet from who? I don't know. Maybe they had a granddaughter or grandson that lived here, and she liked working inside that closet. Maybe that was her work area. It's not your traditional closet either. There's just a bunch of shelves. There's no place to hang clothes. I mean, you could put up like a little bar, I guess. Metal bar to kind of hang clothes, or I wouldn't say move a clothes rack in there. There's no room for that. It's very narrow. But either way, and there could be one in there. I haven't cleaned that out in a while, but I may find one of these again. But it was super fun to find. It's like a relic from my past, even though basically it's a couple of years old now. It's at least 3 years old, maybe more, probably 4. But when I moved, I lost a few things here and there. But anyway, rambling now. So this is the last one that was on here. And I was going to do it last week and just didn't have the time. And that's fine, because this is one that I would definitely change the meaning of. Things that were good but went downhill. Now, this is the fun thing, because on Saturday Morning Samoflange, Prince of the Universe, especially Prince of the Universe, Wes and I kind of already addressed these. This is one that I obviously we had it as a top 5 a long time ago, but I split this up. If I recall, things that used to be great, but went downhill. And we talked about this. The mall used to be great. Used to be a cool place to hang out and much fun. Not now. Bowling alleys, skating rinks. We did newspapers. Used to be things. Libraries used to be big things. It used to be fun to go to the library. Now, who goes to a library? Not many people. I don't know. I still go because the books are free, and if you ever want to read a free book, and they can get you anything now. They'll ship it cross country now. All these libraries have banded together and help each other out, which is really nice too. I really like that they do that, because that means there's just way more books that are available from farther distances. So I do enjoy that. And every once in a while, when I don't want to buy a book, and I hate doing digital copies, I will go to the library. My girls go to the library too, because they do a lot of fun things for kids, and no one really shows up. My kids and maybe 1 or 2 other families, usually just one, or sometimes it's just been my kids that show up, and they love having fun. And I have good memories in the library too. I actually, I like feeling at home in a library. The smell has never changed. And the library is still fun to look around and everything. I do enjoy looking at the books. That's usually when I get a book, too, is when I take my kids. But Wes and I have really talked about each one of these topics before. But here, I wanted to change it up and want to talk about 5 things that are still going on today that have gotten worse. And this is more into the realm of entertainment. Because certain things have gotten worse. You could argue that food chains have gotten worse. Obviously, Walmart has gotten worse. When it became super, that's when it went downhill. Now, I hate it that people do these online orders. I still haven't been happy with any online pickup order, because all 3 times that I have done it, every time they say, your order's ready to pick up, there's always an issue. Meaning, I got that in error, or come back in 15, or can you wait 15 minutes or whatnot? And dude, if I can wait 15 minutes, I may as well go ahead and get the stupid stuff myself. I just took the order and was going to swing by and pick it up. And it hasn't worked out any time I've done it. And Walmart people do use it a lot. Obviously, people use the online ordering a lot, because these you never saw employees unless they're pulling items for, online orders. And the thing is, they're the rudest people in the world. They don't care that you're there. They don't even acknowledge you. And you're the one trying to get something. But they need to get their stuff first. Even if it's the last can of what you wanted, they want to get it first. And they're just so annoying and so rude and so awful. It's just become a worse place to shop. For us, it just so happens that the closest place to get groceries is our Walmart. There is another place, and I used to like them. It's called Brookshire's, and I used to go to Brookshire's a lot, all the time. But then one time, they arrogantly, super arrogantly, I was treated by someone who didn't know the answer, swore that they did, and kept getting it wrong. But then instead of apologizing, kept trying to move the goalpost. There was a sale on Cokes. I said, hey, this sale's not registering. She went, yes, sir, that's just for Cokes, Coke products. I'm like, no. She was like, there is no, she said, there is no 3 for whatever. And I went, yes, there is. And I pointed at the sign that was right there in front of her. And she went, yes, sir, that's just for Coke products. And I went, okay, these are Coke products here. It's not Pepsi. I've got 3 Coke products here. And she was like, yeah, but this sale, it ended. So I said, no, it hasn't. You still got the sign up. And she's like, I don't know. She did not want to say that she was wrong or didn't know. And it would have been fine if she would have said, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what's wrong. Let me get a manager. No, she was just trying to jump up and down that I was wrong about it, but then did not know what she was talking about. And I've had a few run-ins with snotty little Brookshire's employees. Usually they're very kind, but just the location we're at is just awful. They're just full of awful people. So I said, you know what? I'm done shopping here. And they lost my business. I have to go back to Walmart because they're the closest one. And for me, you want my business, you just got to be in, the closest person gets my business. That's why I went to Brookshire. So, because they were, maybe a quarter mile closer to me, but now they're just rude. I don't want to use them. Walmart's not the best either, but at least if I can get in and out, I'm done. That was not one of mine. I decided to keep it to movies and entertainment. Though now that I'm thinking, is there any other things I should have said that have lost their guff over the years? I don't know. Now it's going to come to me probably while I'm doing these. Anyway, number 5 is Family Guy. My wife and I used to love Family Guy. I used to buy every season on DVD. I did it for years. Even when we cut cable, I would still buy it on DVD. Now I don't. Now we watch it streaming. And the last time we watched it, my wife wasn't even interested. And I found out I wasn't interested either. Man, that show has gone downhill. It's just lost its funny. It used to be funny. Every episode used to be just a scream. You'd be laughing. And they still do funny things now and then. But I don't even know if I watched the last season. I don't even know how many seasons have come out. I don't even recall the last time I watched this. Maybe. I don't. Let me check. Let me check and see how many seasons there are real quick. Okay, a new season just started as of this video. So maybe, but do I want to watch this? That's the question. I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do anymore. Just because they're not very good. They're not very funny. This series has just kind of bombed. Seth MacFarlane needs to move on. Of course, how can you say no when Fox keeps throwing money at you, I bet, every year. And this says 23 seasons. I mean, oh my goodness. Ridiculous. So, but it used to be really funny. We used to love the Cleveland Show. It's spinoff too. But now my wife's not interested. I'm not really interested in watching anymore. And it's just not as funny. I remember the last 2 seasons we were watching, I was like, man, this show used to be so funny. It's not anymore. Over the past, oh gosh, what? I mean, it's been a couple of years, 6-7 years ago. It just started bombing and everything with it. It just wasn't as good. It used to be awesome. It's not anymore. And number 4, I'm going to say, and you're going to hear me repeat this later on this year, movies in general. Is that cheating? Movies in general have gone downhill. When I'm thinking about entertainment, movies in general, I'm going to avoid 3 types of movies because they're number 1, 2, and 3 for me. But movies in general have just let me down. Folks, In 2 weeks, I have to do my top 5 movies I saw in theaters. It's a tradition on Samoflange. We talk at the end of the year. We talk about the top 5 things, movies we loved, and then at the beginning of the next year, we always talk about the top 5 movies we are interested in. Because very early in the days, this used to be a channel we would talk about movies in theaters, movie reviews. I did a lot of movie reviews on Saturday Morning Samoflange with top 5s because that was kind of what it was at first. I remember doing my Superman Batman review and Superman Man of Steel review on it. And Prince of the Universe was going to be a lot of Star Wars stuff, and then maybe branch into other nerd things. And now Samoflange became the top 5, even though I do discussions every once in a while that aren't top 5. But back then, it's always been tradition to do movies. I don't even know if I have seen, I'm sure I've seen 5 movies in theaters this year. I also know that a lot of them suck. And I don't know. This is going to be the hardest thing because the rule has always been it has to have happened. I have to have seen it in theaters. That's the rule. I know what the best movie I've seen this year is. However, I did not see that movie in theaters. So what am I going to do? I mean, and some of the movies that I have seen, that I have seen are not very good, and I would not put them in my top 5. I remember we were watching a few movies, my wife and I, we'd watch like 3 movies. I said, I don't know if any of these would be in my top 5. And I knew for a fact we probably weren't going to watch that many movies. Now, here's the other thing. Usually, re-releases count. But I didn't even see that many re-releases in theaters either. So that creates a problem. And, now I'm really hurting. I'm like, wow. And then a lot of movies got delayed. Some movies I never even bothered watching in theaters just because I didn't want to. I just didn't think they were going to be that good. So if I name a top 5, this is going to be a pathetic top 5 because I know for a fact some of my top 5 are would on an average movie year maybe be honorable mentions or dishonorable mentions. They were just movies I just didn't think were that good. And for the rest of the year, I looked at what was coming out. There is nothing that's going to bring me to theaters. I don't think. And the irony of this all is my wife and I live right around the corner from a theater. And we never go. There's just, I don't know. Maybe I can come up. I'm going to look through and see if I can scrap together 5 movies. But I'm not excited to talk about it. I'm not excited. Even in the re-release field, I think I've seen 2 re-release movies. I think so. There's another one. Never mind. I'm filming this a little early, and there's another movie that is coming out. That is coming out next week, I think. There is a Christmas movie coming out soon. Yeah, I may go see that. But then, of course, I got to get babysitters, so maybe not. I don't know. But so there may be hope for me putting together 5 decent. I think I got maybe 2. If I'm thinking in my head, 2 solid ones I would recommend, and I don't know. I have to go back through and see what I saw, but 2 solid ones that would deserve a top 5. And then but last year was good because of the re-releases. So, but I'm more interested in movies that are getting re-released. You hear me out? Movies getting re-released over new movies coming out. And for looking forward to 2025, I don't know if that much is going to impress me. It's going to be a lot of sequels, I know. I don't think because newer movies, you just don't know but that's the beauty of it. You play safe bets at the beginning of the year, and then your mind totally changes. I can kind of remember what I was looking forward to first of the year, and I can always go back and listen to that Samoflange, I guess. But what I was listening to, and sometimes I do. Right before we filmed record the last one, I listened to what I said at first about what I was looking forward to and see how well I matched up. But for movies in general, they are a dud. They are a dud in Hollywood. I don't care about movies overall. I think The movie industry has a big problem right now, and they just can't. So out of touch with the clients, their customers, the moviegoers now. It's ridiculous. Will they ever find their way? Eventually they will, I hope. Now, speaking of movies, three franchises, I guess, that are just dead in the water. I'm going to go ahead and mention, because everyone's saying it's Star Wars. I don't watch these, but I will admit they have really, really screwed up Star Wars. I mean, you can look at a billion YouTube channels, and they've said everything that needs to be said on it. For me, obviously, they killed it the moment they killed the expanded universe, but Star Wars, just as a genre, as a franchise, is dead. Kids are not interested in Star Wars. No, back in my day, kids were always talking Star Wars. When the re-releases, when the prequels came out, Star Wars was hot. People taught Star Wars. Kids taught Star Wars. No one taught Star Wars. No one cares about it. They're losing their fan base. They're using the younger generation. Everything that comes out seems worse than before, and it's a shame. So Star Wars would be number 3, and I'm done talking about that. Number 2 is Marvel. On Prince of the Universe, you have heard me gripe, and I'm still not done griping on Marvel stuff. Agatha All Along was a terrible, horrible, horrendous TV show. And I thought, wow, were the other ones that I skipped back in the day, the ones on Hulu, the rest of Jessica Jones, the rest of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yada, 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 the stuff I didn't bother watching anymore, was that good? Was it ever good? And some of it was. The answer is not most of that. Most of that was not good. But a lot of it was better than Agatha All Along. And as TV series go, they really haven't. There's a few hits there. I would say some solid hits, maybe 4 or 5. I could probably do a top 6 or 7 solid hits they had. Maybe. But there's a lot of meh in there, and there's a lot of garbage in there. But Marvel movies are mainly all garbage now. And like the last really good one was, I mean, if we're counting Deadpool, Wolverine, that would probably be it. But before that, the last Spider-Man movie, which I thought was excellent. But every other Spider-Man movie or something like that, like the Venom, The Last Dance, never saw it, never wanted to. When it comes out streaming, I'll watch it. Craven, are you kidding me? I have less than zero desire to watch it. I don't know what that means, but it just means I do not want to. You couldn't force me to watch it. You couldn't pay me to watch it. Maybe when it comes out streaming, I might, but I don't know. It seems like the biggest waste of time. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. Just Marvel in general has just really screwed up, and I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, like I said, watching Deadpool Wolverine was like watching the good old days, back when Marvel movies were fun. And I'm sure, when it made a buku amount of money, so they went, oh, okay, let's try to go back to this formula. Sometimes Hollywood isn't that dense where they'll finally understand, wait, it makes money? Okay, let's do it this way then, and run into the ground. But you've got to get back, because that just felt like a movie from the glory days of Marvel. Back when you could go and just enjoy a movie, like all the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, Captain America, all the Iron Mans and stuff. It just seems like you knew you were going to be entertained. You knew you'd be entertained. And then it just started falling off the rails. I don't know when exactly, maybe Captain Marvel. For me, Black Panther was hyped up so much, and the CGI looked horrendous. I mean, I remember looking at my brother and going, is it just me, or is this the worst CGI I've ever seen? I mean, this is like the old Matt Damon Daredevil movie bad. Where he's fighting, I think, Killmonger or whatever, and they're fighting in the air or whatever. It's obvious CGI, and it's bad CGI. It's like, 2010 video graphics from Batman Arkham or something. Batman Arkham has smoother graphics. I was like, wow, this looks bad. Am I watching two people play a video game beating each other up? And then there's obvious blue screen. I mean, obvious blue screen. And I was like, what's next? Them driving behind a wheel and turning the wheel every once in a while, even though they're going straight. And behind them is like a 8mm of film of, 1980s New York, driving around New York City. I don't. It just looked really, really bad. And then Captain Marvel, just the old '90s nostalgia. I was ready. Hit me with it, and they didn't. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? So they kind of fell off the rails. And do I hope they'll get back in? I don't know. I don't know what I feel about Marvel. I know I am getting tired watching the shows. I don't think Bruce is going to watch many of these, and it has been a little bit fun talking about them. But at the same time, as I'm going through all this slush is all just what's the word? Slog. There it is. As I'm moving through all this slog of MCU stuff, I'm thinking, is it even worth it even anymore? And number one is the parent company responsible for both of these messes, Disney. Now, again, everything's been said about Disney, and I know everyone's going, ooh, Matt's going to talk bad about Disney. I've already said my piece with Disney. What more can they add? Bob Iger has got to be the biggest idiot. I like Bob Iger. When he stepped down, I thought he did a great job. Oh, Matt, he's the one that bought Star Wars. Yes, did you hear how he did it? He's a silver-tongued gorilla, man. He collected all these things. But the thing is, he got too big. I heard someone say that CEOs of Disney somehow, after years of being in that seat, think they are Walt Disney. They think they are the actual reincarnated Walt Disney and can do no wrong and are masters of the universe. And you can tell from Bob Iger talking about fiddling with movies. He really likes to give a bunch of notes on movies, but he is not a film director. He is not doesn't have an art in that. But he feels, because he sat at the chair of Walt Disney, that he is the new Walt Disney. He is the ultimate creative genius. And he's not. Now, Bob Iger did a lot of smart things. Honestly, his biography is very interesting to read. Very interesting to read. But he acquired a lot of good things and brought Disney to the power that they're at. But now he is responsible. His ego, his head has gotten too big for his shoulders now. And he is making, if you were to take Bob Iger from 15 years ago and show him Bob Iger today, he would have been in a full-fledged panic, I think, over what he's become. And like I said, now he's just blind, willfully blind, and how every business is tanking. Marvel's out of hand. Star Wars never got off the ground once the sequel trilogy, and then it's been burning to the ground ever since. And I don't think he can fire Kathleen Kennedy, by the way. I'm almost positive it was in Lucas's contract when he sold the company, say, hey, I anoint who will run Lucasfilm, and you may never fire her. It was Kathleen Kennedy's who he wanted, but you may never fire her until she wants to retire. And the thing is, I think it was Critical Drinker who said this, and I thought it was a great insight, is that Kathleen Kennedy is good at helping men with visions. She's been the producer on a lot of creative people, but her name is attached to several successful franchises. Okay, but she worked with Ron Howard. He's a creative genius. She worked with George Lucas. He's a creative genius. She worked with Steven Spielberg. But Steven Spielberg is a creative genius. She is not. So George Lucas wanted to give her put her in the seat. She probably wanted it to show, hey, I'm smart too. No, you're good at your job at executive producer. You're piss poor at creativity and imagination. And when Critical Drinker said, not in those words, that blew me away. I was like, boom, that nails it. That is the problem with Kathleen Kennedy. She's good at one hand, and that's no slight. In theater, there are people who are great actors, and they make horrendous directors. I recently gave a quote-unquote bad recommendation. Someone asked me about a person and said, what do you think about them directing? I said, you know what? Them acting is great, and I would definitely put them in any show that they want to be in. However, if they want to direct, I would say X-nay, because I've seen how they direct, and they are horrible, and they are everywhere, and they're not together, and they are not, organized. So I would not give it to them. Some people make great backstage managers, but it doesn't make them a good manager. Director, I mean. Some people are great choreographers. Doesn't make them great directors. Some are great assistant directors, but not lead. I mean, it's not a fault. It's just that you're missing that oomph in it. And I know people who are great I could never be a stage manager like they could. And stage management is very important. And I have certain professionals I will always hire. I've seen bad ones who think they're organized, very nice people. I appreciate anyone doing it, but they're not my people. My people will always get done. I got these two sisters who are whizzes, and they will work for me in a heartbeat. And I always use them. The only reason I started using them is my old faithful. She's my age, and she's always been a stage manager, even though she got on stage twice with me during dinner theater, and she is a genius. I love her to death. She is mainly retired from theater, but if she ever said, Matt, I will do stage management for you, in a heartbeat, she's hired back. Because, I mean, she was so organized. But so were these girls. They're very professional. But that's the thing. Do I think my older friend, who's a stage manager, would I suggest that they give her a director seat? No. And she wouldn't take it because she knows, hey, I'm good at stage management. So know your role. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy knows her role. I don't think so. She's trying to pretend to be someone she isn't. She's good executive producer. You should go back to doing that. Attach yourself to a million great projects with a million brilliant minds who are very creative, but you are not. You don't have a vision. Now, whenever she steps down, what will the world look like for Star Wars? I don't know. I hate to sound like a negative or a pessimist, but I don't think it'll get better. I think they're too far gone. I think they've driven that franchise into the ground, just like Marvel. Will Marvel get better? I hope so. I'd like to see better Marvel movies. I'll believe it when I see it. But right now, as things go, I don't think they've learned. I don't trust Hollywood to learn their lesson on anything, because Bob Iger is just. I mean, maybe he's breathing fire down their backs when no one's looking. Behind the scenes, they're keeping that wrapped. But I'd be like, hey guys, you're supposed to be big money makers. Bob Iger wasn't even supposed to be back in. He cashed out big time during the pandemic. If you don't know this, a bunch of CEOs, they knew the pandemic was happening. This is not conspiracy theory. They knew it was happening in China. They knew how bad it was growing. They saw world fears. They said, that's going to come to America soon. And you can look at the Google, Eric Schmidt, he jumped out quick. A few others jumped ship quick because they knew the stock was going to tank. They could see the way the wind was blowing, and that's why some impromptu announcements were made. And plans were moved up because they knew their stock options wouldn't be as genuine. And they've got billions of dollars now, but now they're just sitting there just churning out more money, but they're not doing their job, meaning Bob Iger. And it's a shame because, like I said, the Bob Iger even when he bought Star Wars, was making the sequels, he was someone I could still admire. When he retired, now many people liked him, but I said, you know what? Whether you like him or hate him, he is a really smart guy. Now, he's not. He's lost his mind. He's lost his way. Disney movies aren't quality anymore. Just plain Disney movies. They used to be fun. They used to be home runs. You used to be excited when you got your 2-week free view of the Disney Channel, right? You were so excited. No one wants Disney Plus. Disney Plus is crap. Now they're streaming, Deadpool, Wolverine. Whoa, that is not family friendly, but they don't care. They're just trying to get people to watch their streaming because no one is. And it's just a whole mess. He has messed everything up. And yes, it is Bob Iger. And I heard someone say, oh, he's going to step down at the end of 2025. Okay, good. Maybe that is the plan. I know Bob Iger is thinking about stepping out, I believe, around that time. But the thing is, who will take over? Will they make changes? Maybe. I'll have to wait and see. But, Bob Iger has his head in the sand and is not making these changes. And he is ultimately responsible for the failures of both Star Wars and Marvel and Disney movies and maybe movies in general. They lead the way. Better storytelling needs to happen. That's the thing. Better stories. Yeah, you have great actors. You can do great scenes, beautiful movies. Maybe not so much on CGI these days, but the writing sucks. It sucks. They need to get it better. Look no further than The Penguin. Holy cow, that was a great TV show, but I'm getting off point here. Anyway, folks, things that used to be good that aren't anymore. Give me your suggestions in the comments below. I'll be back. We're gonna. I know it's been Christmas season. We haven't done anything Christmas, but I do have one Christmas thing planned for next week, right before Christmas. So I will see you next time on Saturday Morning Samoflange.